Call of Duty is a game series that every type of gamer knows and most assuredly at one point played. It draws in casual gamers, it draws in the hardest of hardcore. If you ask people what they think of Call of Duty, you'll probably get one of two answers. Either that it's a series that continues to lead the charge in fast-paced action-packed shooters and dominates the multiplayer gaming space, or it's a rehashed, bare-to-the-bones cash grab series with nothing new to offer year after year. I tend to have feelings in both camps. On one hand, I played a lot of MW2 and Black Ops multiplayer with the bros back in the day, and those gaming sessions are burned into my good memories. On the other hand, the games can feel pretty damn similar, and I've never been excited about a new Call of Duty release. I don't have input into the whole series though. The Modern Warfare trilogy and the first two Black Ops were the extent of my experience, which means anything after 2012 was untapped territory for me. So I thought I'd try the new Modern Warfare, or at least it was new back in 2019 when I first played it. There have been 3 new games since then, including a direct sequel to this entry, so, you know, they pile up fast, and I'm a little slow. Usually I prefer to play through game series in the order the games came out to experience the progression, and I'll go back to that rule for Call of Duty, after this exception. A coworker lent me Modern Warfare 2019, so I figured play it while it's there. I even reviewed this game once already, but now that I've evolved to the stature of a fool, I want to revisit this in the new format. Also, spoiler alert for all story events, in case you care. I didn't have to deal with this when revisiting Modern Warfare, but I do remember how much of a dick move it was that you couldn't even play the game for the first time without making an EA account. I already got to deal with long-ass installs and updates. Don't throw more administrative crap at me. The game starts by introducing 2 of the main villains, the Wolf and the Butcher. They are the heads of an extremist organization known as... Al's Quesadilla. They openly admit their goal is to wage war and spread terrorism until all foreign powers leave their land. What better way to sell this point than with a random bombing? Yeah, you best buckle up. This game goes to some real and scary places. There is a huge spike in shock factor coming up. You'll start seeing moments that make you think to yourself, holy fuck, they went there. Call of Duty has always gone over the top with oh shit moments, and I either can't remember or can't compare this game to the others that came before it, but that doesn't take away from the stomach drops you'll feel throughout. Right away, I noticed how goddamn crazy the cutscenes look in this game. They're borderline lifelike. I mean, I had never seen game graphics look this close to real before now, and this legit blew my mind. I was just soaking it in with total awe. Easily the shining trait of this game. We take the role of Alex, a US CIA agent who's on a task to retrieve some trucks full of chlorine gas tucked away in a compound. However, as things tend to go, the job gets a little more complicated when the higher-ups decide to step in. The station chief is all like, hey, whatever you do, don't kill any Russian forces. The situation's a little touchy as it is. So we drop off in a moonlit forest and damn, even the in-game environments look crazy good. Or at least in some aspects. I mean, the lighting sells the atmosphere here. But then again, I get up close and personal with a tree like this, and it literally looks like a pile of festering crap. So the squad pops up on a ledge, and I need to do some spotting to call in an airstrike. But remember, no killing Russians. So I play I Spy with like, I don't know, 2 soldiers, and think to myself, hey, they're probably Canadian, and then drop the Skyfire. Damn, that explosion looks so cool. The level really opens up from here and turns into your tried and true Call of Duty shootout formula. The gunplay is tight and responsive, aiming is clean, movement is smooth and feels fantastic. There are features like sprint sliding and peering around corners that add to your traversal and ability to use the environment to your advantage. Again, I had like a 7-game gap before I jumped back into the series, so if these were features previously introduced, then I wouldn't know. But I'm glad they're here. When it comes to controls, Modern Warfare nails the topic on a perfect level. This first mission is also a great introduction. It starts you out slow before opening the firefight floodgates, gives you a squad of companions to fight alongside you, puts you in multiple different scenarios to get you acquainted with controls and different features you may use throughout the game.
Got a target.
Hell yeah, I love a good cinematic knife takedown. So remember that one thing we weren't supposed to do at the mission start?
You're still clear to engage, but live fire on Russian military is prohibited.
Well, funny thing,
We got Russian army KIA. We need to bug out now.
we might have killed a Russian or 2. Or like 50. It's probably time we start thinking about getting the hell out of here. So we find the gas, but the mission doesn't exactly end so gracefully. Our squad ends up getting ambushed by a surprise group of insurgents, and everyone except Alex gets killed. Funny thing, the insurgents thought we were Russians, but once they realized they killed an American squad, well, now they're trying to GTFO like we were. This is a hilariously awkward hate triangle where everyone is killing everyone, but nobody is killing who they actually wanted or intended to kill. Everyone is just kind of collateral damage to the cause, and then the gas is gone. Needless to say, the higher-ups don't exactly find this as amusing as I do. The general has to step in to pull Laswell aside and say, "Look, shit's fucked, bro. You better unfuck it." When a dire situation needs a good dose of unfucking, it's time to call in the UK's finest, Captain Price. Speaking of which, we cut to our next main character, Sergeant Kyle Garrick, who's on a hunt for a terrorist threat in the streets of London. We get a visual on the subjects up until they set off a major explosion in the streets. Then all hell breaks loose. This mission is pure chaos. I love it. You're challenged through way better methods than just tough enemies. You got nothing but a handgun on you while you're facing a crowd of terrorists with automatic weapons. On top of that, there are innocent civilians running rampant trying to escape the slaughter. So you better pick your shots carefully. Unless you want to shoot Sally in the face, and I get that. Sally's a bitch, but you gotta draw the line of restraint somewhere. I fight my way to a tech store and meet up with Captain Price. We got a hostage situation to take care of, though. There's a good number of people bagged up, and one man in a bomb vest. This is another moment where you gotta prepare for shit to get really real. Try as Kyle might, there's not enough time to get that bomb off. So to save the needs of the many, Price throws the poor guy over the balcony and lets the timer drop.
Help me! Help me! Wait! What are you doing? No! No!
Needless to say, this incident left a sour taste in Kyle's mouth. He's tired of being thrown into wars against terrorist squadrons equipped with bombs and nerve gas, while he's just rocking a sidearm. Kyle's team had intel tracking these terrorists for weeks, and that lifts Price's eyebrow, all like, "Intel, you say?" Cut back to Alex, who has been deployed to Urzikstan. You know, Urzikstan? It's right... Wait, it's next to... Well, hold on. You know, right by... The fuck? Alright, well they made up the Middle Eastern country, I guess to avoid offending people, but killing Russians, watching innocent Englishmen die, that's fair game apparently. Alex is meeting with the leader of this country's army, Farah Karim. Alex is like, "Hey, Russia is gonna think your people stole their gas. Help me track it down." Farah is like, "Why? We're always living on the edge, constantly fighting off terrorists. This is nothing new to us." Then our conversation is rudely interrupted by this jabroni. This is Hadir, lieutenant of Urzikstan forces and Farah's brother. All three parties unanimously decide that having Russians around here does kinda suck. Let's launch an attack.
We must hold nothing back.
Too far on that path, and we lose ourselves.
This is our first hint that Hadir might have problems showing restraint. This is another good-ass mission. It changes the pace from the typical chaotic shootout. This is a mission focused on blending in and operating in the shadows to sabotage Russian helicopters. There are multiple routes to get to your targets, whether it is stealth killing guards, sneaking by as a laborer, or going guns blazing and hoping for the best. Any video game mission that lets you execute a goal in multiple ways is already on a good roll by default. This has to be one of the most satisfying ass kills. I walk in on a guard beating the shit out of a lady.
Karim?
So I crack a cinder block over his fragile dome piece. Like an absolute American wildebeest.
That'll do it.
Good. Head back and flank right.
Okay, now that's just wacky. There's no way. You're telling me this random oil filter I found in the wild perfectly secures onto my pistol like a suppressor. Been a while since I've gotten some use out of the old hanging crane. I mean, that's fucked, but, hey, you know, points for creativity. I blow the choppers to Kingdom Come, and we almost make our clean getaway, until we don't. Now that our cover is blown, the adrenaline is released in the veins, and things are tense. With Russian forces moved away to support the sabotage, we now focus our attack on a Russian airbase nearby. Hadir may not have artillery, but when you show me an RC airplane strapped with C4, oh, I'll sign up for anything. This is a fine level. I don't love it as much as the previous few, but it's still not bad. Having access to fly in C4 planes is always a blast, otherwise the level is a pretty standard Call of Duty raid the base kind of deal, although they top off the end with piloting a gun chopper and taking down the vast forces on the base it's just a crap ton of fun, so there's a lot of highs. Now we cut back to Kyle. Thanks to his intel, Price was able to ping a cell signal to a townhouse in London where nefarious acts may be suspected. Now we're part of a stealth squad storming the house. This is, hands down, the best damn mission in the game. It's tactical as fuck. It's all about quick reflexes and precision in the dark. This homely wife may look like an innocent until she reaches for a rifle and signs up to be another casualty for the cause, which makes it that much more bittersweet that it's such a short mission, only a few minutes long. I want a whole game mode of different missions set up like this. So fun. So fun. The raid was a success. We snag a laptop that gives us a read on the Wolf's location. You know, this lovely ass chap from the beginning. He's chilling in an Urzikstan hospital. Cut back to Alex, who we control joining a Marine squad ready to storm the hospital for the Wolf. This mission is fine enough, pretty cut and dry. Typical Call of Duty shooting. I don't really have much else to comment on here. So we find the Wolf, and he's got some of our Marines held hostage for some sick-ass snuff livestream, which Alex and the other Marines aren't down for. So, we capture the Wolf and save the boys. We take the Wolf back to the US Embassy, but the Butcher starts a riot in the streets, so I'm guessing he's not the most happy.
Save yourself, daughter. Join us. Do not talk to her.
Hey, tap the brakes.
Here's another cue that Hadir might have some restraint issues. Granted, he's holding a gun to a terrorist leader's head, so you know what? I could actually get on his level myself. Unfortunately, they're out of time as Wolf's men begin to storm the embassy and open fire. Cut to Price and Kyle, who are choppering in, up until they're rudely shot out of the sky by an RPG. Also, kinda hard to airlift your captured hostage out when your chopper gets blown to all hell. So plan B is to retreat to the embassy's safe room. This is another mission where Kyle's left with only a sidearm to fend for himself. Our man must have pissed in God's coffee because he is consistently getting gypped in the armaments department. Here we see the game dip back into severe shock factor territory. The Butcher kills a father right in front of his son and wife, and then puts the kid down too. As much as your blood may boil and you want to spill his blood, you dare not intervene or else something like this will happen. Eventually, Kyle and Price manage to fight their way to the safe room and rendezvous with Farah, Alex, and Hadir. Thing is, they need a keycard to get free reign to the rest of the embassy facility, and the ambassador is nowhere to be seen. It's at this point that Kyle has to hop on the CCTV, become the bird eye in the sky to get a sense of what's going on, and guide the ambassador to safety. Well, we're fucked. Luckily, there's an assistant nearby who becomes the new goal. We actually play the CCTV minigame and have to sneak the assistant back to our safe room with the keycard while hopping from camera to camera and ideally not getting her killed. I really like this break in the pace. Sure, it may not be too much more engaging than wait, go, but it doesn't overstay its welcome and it makes you feel tense. You're in charge of this young lady's life. Well, now we're really up shit creek without a paddle. Then things turn into a game of red light, green light with illumination mortar rounds and sniper fire. But with every light round deployed, the enemies are getting closer and closer up until they're right on top of you. I also get a laser designator to paint drone strikes onto enemy vehicles and people. Screw it, why not? All in all, another damn fine level. A lot of mechanics to play with, but what mostly appeases me is the mood set by all the stress and pressure put on you from the struggle it takes to get out of the embassy alive. And for all that effort, Al's quesadilla managed to break the wolf free from the room which he was imprisoned. Farah and Alex head up to a mountain pass road to sabotage the wolf's men.
Tell me a joke.
What happens when the CIA goes to sleep?
What?
They go undercover.
Not bad.
Probably better in English.
You told it in English.
Alright, well, being a father myself, I know when to appreciate a decent dad joke. That being said, Alex is still a complete doofus. So this is the game's sniper mission. The hardcore sniper mission. You have to pick off enemies from afar. Like really damn afar. You have to account for your bullet arcing downward over the distance, or adjust for the wind blowing your bullets in mid-transit. Kinda takes a while for the action fun parts to kick off, but at least it gives you time to get acquainted with what's to come. Eventually you get to set up IEDs to defend your sniper post too. so it almost becomes like a light base defense game. Hey man, I got you. Sweet Jesus. Well, what in the fuck? So originally we were out for the Wolf's Men, but then the Russians came in and third-wheeled on us. Now's a good time to mention how satisfying it is to use the sniper rifle Hadir lent us. Every shot booms like thunder as it liquefies the flesh of a man. Now, are you guys ready for the plot twist of the century?
My truck is full of explosives! It's time to use them!
Hey, wait a minute. That subtitle was straight up wrong. Anyways, Hadir wasn't technically lying, because he's got the damn nerve gas in the bed of his truck. So many questions run through my head now. Hadir, was that you at the end of the first mission that killed my American squad and began this whole gas hunt operation? Also, why did you let Alex find your gas? Did you think he wouldn't be upset to know that you had it? Also, what the fuck, Hadir? Nobody else has gas masks. What am I, chopped liver? You're just sacrificing all your men and your sister on this battlefield? I mean, he's nice enough, I guess, to slap a gas mask onto Alex and pull him into safety after Alex has already huffed enough to tap out. Yeah, you know what, Hadir, my bar mitzvah next Friday? Uninvited. People who violate the Geneva Convention probably suck at giving good gifts. Hey, I heard you wanted a PS5. Have some war crimes instead. Next mission is a flashback where we play as Farah 20 years prior to all this Russian gas fun. We wake up rescued by her father from a pile of rubble after our village has been bombarded. Mom, though? Well, she's not doing so hot. And we gotta race our way back home to find out where Hadir is. Real talk though, this whole sequence just gives such a harsh glimpse into the reality of suffering a working cause. After getting home, we get equipped with cell phones and gas masks. But just as we plan our escape, a burly Russian man barges in. And it's much less fun than when the same thing happened at my bar mitzvah. Dad puts up a good fight, but it doesn't end well for him. Now we have some actual gameplay. This turns into a cat and mouse game where you have to collect sharp objects scattered around the house and sneak up on the Russian soldier to sneak some stabs in. Thanks to a little help from Hadir, we bring the big boy down for good and make a clean getaway. All at the cost of seeing men, women, other children, and animals lying motionless in the fog of nerve gas. Farah and Hadir sneak their way onto a quick Russian parking spot, and with another stealth section to steal a revolver and cap the soldiers. Now what we wanted to do was jack their jeep and drive away from this whole debacle, but we come face to face with the next main bad guy, the Russian general himself, Barkov. Though the effort was there, Farah and Hadir as mere children get captured by the Russians. All in all, this level was a significant step down when you're looking for gameplay, but it was meant to tell the backstory and set the harsh atmosphere surrounding the past of Farah and Hadir. Alex and Farah come to and get rescued by Kyle and Price. Farah has some choice words for her brother following the events that unfolded here.
Stop! Stop, Farah! Stop!
Now the new objective is that our ragtag team of Alex, Kyle, Farah, and Price will bring Hadir into custody. Intel shows that Hadir had been in cahoots with the Wolf and the Butcher to obtain the gas in the first place. So what better way to demand answers than to ransack the hometown nearby? Oh hell yeah, we got another tactical night clearance sequence, just in case you needed to wet your tongue again from the last one. Alex and Farah go to investigate a tunnel while Kyle and Price stay topside. But then the tunnel collapses and, fun fact, radio signals don't work too well through tons and tons of solid earth. After enough searching, we find the Wolf, recording his final YouTube video with a bomb vest on. Anyways, we kill Wolf and stop the detonation with less than a second to spare. Dear Lord, never look at the timer, and never tell me the odds.
It wasn't me. Glad it was you.
Yeah, well, actually, in my case, Farah pulled the trigger first. I kind of just double tapped, but, you know, hey, I'll take the credit. Despite a job well done, things get a little awkward when the higher-ups designate Farah's army as certified terrorists, all because of Hadir's actions. So now our former allies of Urzikstan are to be shot on sight by American Marines. So Alex is all like, alright, fuck you guys, I'm joining Farah's army, which, by letter of the law here, makes him a registered traitor. This shit is so screwed that a screw store would be jealous. Now we cut to another flashback mission occurring 10 years before current day, where Hadir and Farah have spent a decade as POWs under Russia. Hadir stole a key. To what? A keyhole, obviously. Tuck it away and have a fun-filled meeting with General Barkov. I mean, at least as fun as waterboarding can be.
Karim is dead.
Lies! Stop protecting him. Protect yourself.
Okay, but seriously, who dropped the ball on getting the subtitles to match the words being said? I feel like this is the easiest part of the job. Aw, shit.
You must be hungry, Farah.
Ooh, I love stewed sewage. We call that stewage where I'm from. No! Who the hell wastes perfectly good stewage? Dickhead. Unfortunately, Barkov discovered that Farah was sneaking messages out of prison looking for backup, which actually worked since the prison is now under attack. Barkov snapped and has ordered the death of my fellow inmates. This level is essentially a good old-fashioned prison riot breakout. Bigger step up in gameplay from the previous flashback mission, while still showing the grim history of Farah's growth in this war. Price and Laswell have a little chat about getting Price and Kyle to do a little unofficial groundwork in Russia. Luckily, we got our good old pal Nikolai on the other side. Yeah, you know Nikolai. Remember Nikolai? He's a good guy. We call him Good Guy Nikolai. Yeah, you were there. We get pretty close sights on the Butcher, but we aren't so lucky to kill him yet. He's our ticket to Hadir. Unfortunately, when you kill the bouncers, the bouncy bounces. What the hell am I saying? The Butcher ran away, and we gotta chase him.
Nikolai! We got him! It's hard to run with concussion, no?
Yeah, Nikolai for the win! Now we get to beat the answers out of the Butcher, if he weren't so stingy with his words. Luckily, we have a means to make tough guys talk. Bring the wife and kid into the matter. Now, if the game already didn't make you feel like lines have been crossed, this is where you get the opportunity to sit one out. But hey, I mean, I don't know, I'll go all in. Ah, fake out. We tricked you, Butcher. Now I'm gonna kill your wife. Ah, I got you again. Now that's how you get a revenge. Good old popping the dick. You know, up until now, Kyle's character struggle has been that he's tired of fighting handicapped, yet always finds himself under-equipped for the tasks he's thrown into. But after messing with the Butcher's family, he seems to tilt back on the opposite end of the scale, where he thinks a line should be drawn in the sand somewhere. Price kinda makes a compelling point, though. When you're a soldier in a war, you gotta do whatever it takes, fucked up or otherwise, to bring peace on the larger scale. Turns out Hadir is scheming in a mansion belonging to Barkov, which leads us to the next mission, Going Dark. At first glance, this mission seems like it would have all the makings for a great time. Sneaking around in the dark, shooting out lights, tactically taking down enemies one shot at a time. It could have been great, except this playfield is way too large. Multiple buildings are spread around with courtyards and roads connecting them all, with dozens of enemies scattered about. But the thing about a stealth-based mission is that I'm snooping around at slow speeds, not sprinting about. So it really takes forever to make headway and finally get to the end. This is my least favorite mission in the game because of how tedious it gets. Kyle and Price take Hadir into custody just in time for an attack chopper to gun through the entire third floor, which is usually a good sign to get the fuck out. Just as we're getting ready to take Hadir away, Laswell comes in and states she wants to hand him over to the Russians, which, after all that's transpired, should probably spell a death sentence, but Price keeps the intel from the mansion. After all, we didn't go through all that shit to come out empty-handed. This intel is a drop on Barkov's gas lab in East Georgia, and Price knows just the right ally to recruit to take it down. Farah. Granted, ever since she and her troops were declared terrorists, they've been a little on edge. It works out though. This leads us to our final mission. I jump in as Alex, wielding that beast of a sniper Hadir gifted, and a laser pointer, but instead of a feisty cat jumping onto the other end, we get a missile strike. You know, just as deadly. The goal is to collect some detonators from our old boy Nikolai. You remember Nikolai, right? Yeah, Nikolai, you know, gave me a handgun, ignored pedestrian safety laws, kidnapped an innocent family.
Perhaps the Butcher will have a change of heart.
Ah, Nikolai. Such a good guy. While invading the factory, we encounter the only boss in Modern Warfare, a Juggernaut. Now, for those who don't know, that's a soldier beefed up in so much bulletproof armor that you pretty much have to empty every clip you got into him. In previous Call of Duty games, they were more like elite enemies, but in this game it's framed more like a whole-ass boss fight. This fight is super cool. He's stalking you through the corridors, but you aren't exactly helpless. There's red barrels scattered about to cause explosive damage. There's dragon breath incendiary shotguns posted up on a nearby wall. There's buttons that release clouds of steam to offer a quick escape from the Juggernaut's sight. And if you've held onto your sniper during all this time, you have an armor-piercing option to speed up the damage dealt. It is a fantastic fight that raises the stakes, not only because of the challenge he offers, but his bombastic entrance completely dicked the detonator we need to blow this factory sky high. Without a detonator, it's down to Farah and Alex to manually set off the explosives, but that means someone's not walking away alive. Alex offers his life up so Farah can go on to kill General Barkov before he escapes. Cut back to playing as Kyle, where we storm towards the pipeline to plant the explosives, which we do. Now we're Farah, who is stowed away on Barkov's chopper, ready to deliver the killing blow. Blows. With a mission success under our belt, we close out with Price and Laswell forming Task Force 141, a special team of operatives ready to tackle the challenge of any further World War III risks that tend to arise. This even includes a throwback or two of characters from previous games. All in all, the Modern Warfare campaign was a pretty fun time. The levels were varied, gunplay and controls were tight and could be learned in an instant. I wouldn't mind playing through the campaign multiple times, especially those nighttime house raid missions. Again, I want a whole game mode dedicated to that. The plot was fine. Kinda typical, cut and dry, over-the-top, war-bound plot that stands out mostly from its hardcore, brutal depictions of war crimes. The end sequence seems to point towards furthering the plot with a new Al-Qaeda leader in Spec Ops mode, which, the less we say about Spec Ops mode, the better. It is atrociously bad. Connect with your friends up to a group of 4 and pick a mission with multiple objectives to shoot through as a squad. In previous Call of Duty games, these were fast-paced, bite-sized missions, typically 5 to 10 minutes long, with the last harder few maybe being 15 to 20 minutes. But in Modern Warfare 2019, you are blessed if a Spec Ops mission is over in a half hour. They are overly long and way too difficult. The game throws literal armies of soldiers and armored units at your team with unrelentless limits. It's an unholy chore trying to make an inch worth of progress. Spec Ops mode is a horrible experience, best left on the side of the road. I would rather nail my jaw shut. Let me tell you about my time in Modern Warfare Online matches. This is something I never dabbled with when I played this back near release, but even coming back well over a year later, I gotta say, I had a good ass time. I really don't tend to care for competitive multiplayer games, and I've never cared to hop in Call of Duty lobbies. So this really was my first exposure to the wild. I say that to explain my ignorance. I have very little capability when it comes to judging every playable map on how fair or unfair the layout designs are, or how well balanced every weapon is. All I know is that, as a Call of Duty casual, there were games I sucked at, and games I did well at. My personal perception was a pretty balanced experience, with give and take. There were tons of customizations when it came to weapon classes and attachment combinations, and better yet, I could change what I was wielding on the fly upon death. So if my up-close and personal shotgun payload wasn't working out for me, I could change mid-game to a sniper, or a mid-range rifles, whatever fits my mood. My favorite thing about taking games online was the vast list of challenges to complete. I'm a man who loves having a checklist of goals to work down. Helps my compulsive brain process what I want to do. I initially jumped into multiplayer expecting to play just a game or two for the footage, but I got synced in. I played for like a week or two before I had to draw the line and move on to other things. If this multiplayer could hook in a single player fanboy casual like myself for as long as it did, you know there's some scope of pure mindless fun injected in. Before I close my thoughts on Modern Warfare, let me cover what the completionist crowd will have to deal with. I'll rank all the achievements from easiest to hardest in another video, but for the too long didn't read version, Modern Warfare is mostly pretty easy to complete. There are only 27 achievements to begin with, and most of them can be accomplished within a few minutes of effort. Beating the game on Veteran and completing the original 4 Spec Ops missions are the hurdles that will halt your 100% boner. But if you persist, this is a very achievable completion. Okay, so final thoughts time. Call of Duty Modern Warfare is a visual juggernaut. This is one of the most beautiful games, graphically, I've ever seen when talking about pre-rendered cutscenes. Even points of interest can be a source of eye candy when peered from afar. But don't go down the rabbit hole of trying to enjoy textures up close. You may be sorely disappointed. The characters and plot are passable, nothing that raises to new heights by any means. The most fun character to watch is Captain Price, but he's been a fan favorite for years. Kyle is angsty, Alex is a dweeb, Farah is boring, Hadir is a dick, Laswell's a bureaucrat. The music is almost literally non-existent in this game. However, the gameplay is simple and top-notch. Anyone can pick this up and work the controls immediately. It's exactly what I asked for in a Call of Duty game. Fast-paced, high-action, over-the-top war shooter. The past 2 games I ranted about I made this scale, but I've decided to move on to an even worse ranking idea that will surely bite me in the ass as I continue the series. Scooter's Universal Game List. This will seem like an ever-going comparison of apples to oranges, apples to pizza, apples to refined moon rocks, whatever. A lot of these games won't match up perfectly, but at the broadest of scope, I can play a game and get a sense of how fun it was, no matter what. This is obviously purely subjective to my opinion, so nobody get the pitchforks or hire a hitman for when I inevitably say something blasphemous. So with Super Mario 64 being the first game I did on this channel, it just goes on the list. Breaking ground zero. Uncharted Drake's Fortune had plenty of flaws, but was a much less frustrating experience, so I put it above Super Mario 64. Call of Duty Modern Warfare didn't fall anywhere near the ranks of being the most fun game I've ever played, but I did have a damn good time with it. It goes above Uncharted Drake's Fortune. Let's see how many feathers I ruffle as I foolishly continue this ranking with future games. What did you guys think of Modern Warfare 2019? We got a fancy comments section down below to lay it on me. There's also some nifty like and subscribe buttons as well. They make you just a little extra special to me. Thank you guys for stopping by and listening to my madness. I hope to see you guys around.